Good evening. Today I want to talk about property. It's not uncommon for you and I to have, own, or want properties such as homes, cars, electronics, and clothing. But in today's society, would you be surprised to know that it's also not uncommon to own humans? This is known also as human trafficking. What is human trafficking? Human people sold as products. Child exploitation, prostitution, physical manual, and body parts, such as organs. Recent studies show an astonishing 300,000 victims worldwide today. 100,000 here in the United States alone. 80% of which are women, 40% of which are children between the age of 9 and 16. So what would cause one human being to do such a heinous act against another? Greed, fast money, repeated sales product, the black market, not to mention a multi-billion-dollar industry. $100 billion yearly wide, to be exact. In the U.S. alone, a profit hitting at $290 million. And ranking just in Atlanta and Denver on a yearly basis, $40 million. Again, these are for the average ages of 9 and 16. Sexual activities alone, $120 million. And the most astonishing part, child pornography ranking at the highest of their profits. Who are those most likely to be sold into sex trafficking? Research shows that the third world countries are the most vulnerable. The poorest parts of the country where children are homeless, where they are runaways from desperate situations, and in many cases where the families themselves throw their children away because they cannot afford to feed them or to care for them. In a lot of cases, the family themselves are the ones who trade them in. Here in America, they're more likely to be children, teenagers who are looking for security, acceptance, and probably have their parents could be drug, alcohol addicted, dysfunctional upbringings, broken homes, fighting, arguing, lots of anxiety. This is probably an unlikely case for one to fall a victim in a healthy family. The research shows that healthy families where two parents are together and they are being brought up, they're less likely to fall into a victim into trafficking. So where are humans sold? The category right here, escort services. You have the women are most likely recruited for escort services, in which many cases they have their pimps, the ones who manage everything that they do, and in most cases are the very ones who rape them and beat them in order to groom them and keep that threat in them to put them into prostitution. Pornography, as we spoke about earlier. Forced manual labor, as we can see, not all of it is sexual. That is a high-ranking profit that comes in to this billion-dollar black market. And then, of course, child sex slave. So, what is law enforcement and social society doing to war against these heinous crimes? Well, first, they wanted to find out how these men were buying and selling these women. And so the United States grants through a Microsoft corporation such as Thorn have created a decoding, which is an online decoding, learning the language that they use to buy and sell these women worldwide. And so that's there's lots of activists that are right now learning how to decode that and that are working with the law enforcement. Mm-hmm. What can we as social workers do to help the trauma victims that have suffered these sex trafficking ordeals? We can become more educated. Mm-hmm. And have the resources. Know who the trauma victims are, know the signs. Mm-hmm. What can we do? Connect them to the right resources, the ones that are going to be effective for that particular trauma that they've suffered. Send them to the right place, whether it's spiritual, counseling, places like that, places that are going to be effective. Why we should send them there, find out the reason why this is going to work for them, and how we can keep them from falling victims to this again in their lives. Providing effective resources such as safe refuges, finding the safe houses, knowing all of this in advance, making sure they get counseling, trying to encourage them with all of our power to get counseling, if it's spiritual therapy that they need, and always having the right numbers so that a victim can call on contact if given the opportunity to the hotlines for human sex trafficking. What else can we do? We can spread the words to others so that they can become aware. Spread it to our families, our friends, to our schools, churches, neighborhoods. Get them involved. Get them to create conference meetings, to bring the schools together, the communities, so that we can make the world more aware of what's going on. These are our children. These are our daughters and our sons that are out there being sex trafficked. To think that it will not reach our homes is to think ignorantly. So we have to spread the word and become more aware of it. These are the citations. I appreciate you listening. Thank you and have a great day.